Yeah, man.
All right, looks like we are live. Holy moly. Man, we're going to get in trouble tonight.
Well, we might as well.
Well, we couldn't have a show live, Frank, without getting in trouble as people start rolling in. What fun would that be? Freaking. Oh, yeah. All right, I'm getting my thing set up here. Oh, let's see here. Oh, we are live. All right. We got 9 people on here, Frank. People will still remember us. Let me get this shared over to the group.
Yeah, I'm putting it over there with my little thing.
Somebody can share it to the group. I don't know how to share it to the group. What's up, guys? Man, it's Shaggy and Frank. Welcome to the Real Trucker Talk. You know, we used to do this every Wednesday night. Then we started doing it every Friday night. And holy shit, we got so busy we couldn't even keep our eyes straight. So we're going to be back every other week on Wednesday night, the original time, the original place, 7 o'clock live here with you every week. And Frank and I are going to be talking about trucking, brokering, pipeline. Freaking, what's up, Jesse and Melinda? All the crazy shit that happens in trucking today, man. Dispatching, starting a trucking company. Why the hell if you have more than 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 or 7 or 8 or 9 or 10 or 15 or 20 or 30 trucks, are you still using some load boards? What's up, Red Dot? Nice to see everybody in the house. We are on Facebook and we're on YouTube, Frank, tonight. We're checking out the YouTube world. Holy cow. When we're live, we wish you guys would ask lots of questions over in the comments. We could see the different pages. Ask comments, talk about we're open for brokering, why you're having trouble, man, getting customers, why you as carriers can't get customers. Starting a trucking company, should you use a dispatching service when you start out? Why the fuck did you start a trucking company and you are using a dispatching service when you start out? You know, are you why aren't you running your own trucking company? Are you diversified? How many company trucks do you have? What are you doing with those company trucks? You know, we got so many things. And anytime you have questions about trucking or equipment, or we had a guy just post a question in the group a few minutes ago about tankers. He's running tanker and he's thinking about buying a tanker and a truck. He says, just starting hauling tanks and looking to purchase a truck in the near future. Any owner operators hauling tanks and any advice would be greatly appreciated. So Frank's going to have to go give him some advice. I
Yeah.
know. Go ahead, Frank.
No, I was just gonna say, all our tanker stuff, RO, Red Dot, all our tanker stuff is currently is under contract. It's all dedicated, and it just keeps going. We've been doing it for I don't know 18 years or stuff. But pulling tankers is a whole nother animal. We pull food grade tankers. That's our thing. They're just shotguns. They don't have any baffles in them. You just kind of gotta grab them and go. That kind of thing. So as far as tankers go, I don't have a whole lot of advice, even though I've been doing it and I got 75 of them. All food grade. That's what we do.
A lot of it too, right?
A lot, 40 a day, give or take. But we've been doing that for years and years and years and years.
What's up, John? Carl Mendez says, hey, fellas, may I have Penny's number? I have CX for her for insurance. Penny's phone number is, you ready to write it down?
If you move
Carl?
your arm, they can probably see it.
Oh, yeah, it's right there. You're right.
Right there.
Move it over a little bit.
There it
right
is.
there on that screen, 303-482-2965. Miss Penny Royston / Evil Sizer. One of the coolest ladies in the world. Been doing this stuff with authorities since trucking started. Almost as long as Frank's freaking dad, Muhammad, whatever his name is.
Mongo.
Yeah, Mongo, that's right.
Great grandfather, Mongo Trucks.
We want to start off tonight talking about dispatching, and starting in trucking companies. It's a weird world we live in where there's so many things going on, so many new trucking companies. And I got to get rid of this damn tie. I can't do ties. Ties are for, what's that word again? funerals. I don't know, something. So, we're going to be talking about dispatching. We're open for dispatching questions, starting your trucking company, buying equipment. Definitely, Frank loves talking about trucks because he's always out driving around in a truck. Brokerage questions and everything. And we got questions rolling in like crazy, Frank.
Already, yeah, piling up.
How can I get, okay, so we got the first one, Carl. Derek Jones says, how can I get my flatbed, Frank, carrier list to grow? I need some dependable carriers.
Well, this is going to tie into some other stuff we're going to talk about, like how weird it is right now, how strange everything is. You know, brokers out there right now, you know, and they're fighting like y'all. And if you call up a brand new customer and you say, "Hi, I'm a broker. I can get you trucks," they already got people doing that. The way to call a customer right now is say, "Hi, my name is Shaggy. I've got trucks." And then they'll bring you in, sit you down, give you a nice little foot massage, let you drink some sissy drink they just came out with or whatever, and beg you to give them some trucks. So the answer to your question is right now, Derek, it's all about money. It's all about the money right now. I mean, you got to pay if you want it. You got to pay to get it. If you want that truck, you're going to have to pay for it.
It's the same topic with recruiting, man. What about this? Like everything with all these trucks sitting all over the place, man. You talk about Carol Fulmer, your buddy in England, and then people are gonna be like, those are big trucking companies that suck, man. They're terrible, but it doesn't matter. They still have a lot of money.
A lot of money, deep pockets, and a lot of patience.
Yeah, and they got a lot of trucks sitting.
And a lot of trucks sitting. My buddy at one of the big trucking companies told me the other day, he's got 350 trucks sitting on the fence right now. Never have turned a mile, never have been anywhere. Got no drivers for them. None. Zero.
Melinda says, experienced a situation the other day on a load we booked off DAT that the broker MC was inactive. Is it that this inactive broker is able to post a job on DAT? You know, it's funny because we were doing training class this week, right? And this is an exact example of what we're talking about tonight. Why carriers 1 minute are bitching about brokers having all the rate, calling them crooks, right? But at the other minute, a carrier still hasn't went and got customers in this market, right, Frank?
That's crazy.
And what happens is people start posting loads. Well, when a broker needs to make a living off moving freight, right, Frank? A broker is going to co-broker and do everything he can. Matter of fact, it goes into the same question about illegal or legal dispatching services in the highway bill that TAA is trying to put in. Like we were talking about the Shannon guy that leads the task force for FMCSA on complaints against dispatching services. That's getting bigger and bigger and bigger, right?
Yeah.
You know, and so you look at that highway bill where they want to slide it. The biggest brokers in the world want to push the slide in a deal where they can make it the law of some sort to where you can only dispatch for one carrier. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But right now with the double brokering and co-brokering, it's been huge. It's always been double brokering. But the problem is every customer doesn't care. There's a point where they need their freight move. They got to have the freight move.
That's like right now.
Right now. So when you're on the load board, what's up, Jeff? Dixon Transit, and welcome to the show, man. Guys, please share the show, spread it around. We love having you guys here. Support the show. We're gonna drop some great information and educate you guys and answer your questions. And you know, Frank's been doing this since they built wagon wheels before the Flintstone show came on, and his dad started before that. You know, and I'm somewhere halfway in between that, but not as far. You know what I mean? So, you know, there's a lot of stuff to talk tonight. It's like, you know, rates are the highest we've ever seen them. And what would a hurricane do right now if it was to hit the southeast across the bottom?
What did this little pipeline breakdown that we did? They fixed it today. It's back up. So it should be up and going again in the next couple of days. So, but what would have happened if that lasted for a month?
Oh my God, dude.
What would have happened if all those fuel stops that ran out of fuel yesterday and today? What if that had lasted for a month? What do you think would happen, you know, to rates? Silly girl stuff. What do you think would happen? And here's, as a freight broker, Derek says, as a freight broker, how can I get signed up with some of these big name truck companies? most of those big name truck companies, brothers, have their own brokerage. They don't.
Yeah, they don't want you anyways.
Yeah, they don't
it's
need you.
different.
They got their
But
own load boards.
you know,
They're not on that. Most of them do not haul, outside broker freight. They just do
you
not
think
haul.
about you think about that question earlier though. We're doing the training class, right, Frank? Where we're doing the live phone calls. That's what you should do when you open a trucking company, right? Is learn how to talk to brokers and learn to
Yeah.
build a broker base before you go active, so you don't have to use a dispatching service, right, Frank?
Yep.
So we're doing that training, teaching people like Kaylee and all them to book their own loads and to call before they go active, right? So they know how to pay for their truck and their insurance and all that shit once they're active and they're not relying on somebody else. And it's weird because we're doing calls and I've never seen so many people when they call in training where they're calling brokers and the broker says, hold on, I'm going to have to call the broker that has the load.
Yeah. Let me see if it's here's what they'll tell you. Hey, can you give me just a minute and let me see if it's still there?
Yeah, but that's the problem right now. Customers don't care. And even brokers that had standards before are so desperate to pay their living, pay their employees. They need freight moved. This is a world where if you guys have trucks, all it takes is, hi, Frank, my name is Shaggy. I have a trucking company with trucks that move your kind of freight. Are you guys using carriers right now? Because I noticed you have these lanes and I'd love to have those trucks in your lanes. Could you use them? We're available. And then you tell them your rate. Let's keep going on the questions. Am I wrong, Frank?
No, you're dead on. Let's see. How do I quote partial expedited loads? Jaron, that's a tough one to quote. Most of the time, people go by cube on those. How many cubic feet are you putting in a trailer? How much trailer are you going to take up? On an expedited load, though, 99.9 times out of 100, the shipper wants the truck. They want exclusive use because they want you to pick it up, get it where it's going, and then unload it. So I wouldn't worry about quoting partials on expedite. I just quote the truck. They get and they'll take it. They will take it because that's what they're looking for.
Back up here, Derek says, as a freight broker, how can I get signed? Oh, you already said that one. You're not. I mean, it's gonna be hard. You're gonna have something they want. They have big relationships and stuff. You don't want the big carriers. Do a little work, Derek Jones. Get on Carrier 401, find the locator, and go get your knee pads out and call carriers right now. Because if you didn't build relationships with carriers right now, when the market's like $5 plus a mile, $4 a mile, and your grandma can get on a load board and book it, then you're in trouble. Period. That's just the way it is. And yeah, it's you're gonna beat it. Brokers that have been in business forever, like we can name off a bunch of them, can't even find trucks because there's two kinds of people out there. They're freight chasers that have chased the almighty dollar, and then when the rates go back down, and the brokers that they missed that really want them, and because they chase the dollars and it's not there because something's gonna crash. When it will, who knows? Me and Frank talk about it all the time. Who knows when this is going to come down?
Something will happen.
It could be 2 years, but something will happen.
Yeah, and we just came through December, January, and February. Okay, December, January, February, part of March. Everybody that's been in this business for 8 or 10 years, we all know that those are the slowest months of the year. And then somewhere in March, April, it starts to ease back. It never did stop. There is no ease back up. It never did stop. And talking to some friends, Shaggy and I, other guys that have been in this business for 30 years, let me tell you, we've never seen this. It's a new thing. It's a whole new ball game out there. It's a whole new thing.
Oh, yeah.
There's no such thing. There's no such thing as a bad load, only a bad rate.
Yeah, right now, if you don't know how to dictate it, you're wrong. But when you're dictating these rates, remember, there's going to be a time to come whenever they're not there. What are you going to do then? All these guys that are buying trucks, throwing them out there, we haven't even got in the recruiting yet. Jeff Strangler says, Stangler says, company driver for large companies. Shippers, don't be late right now loading because you'll be on a load from 419 to 426. And he ain't joking, man. Hey, don't miss a load right now because they're so far in demand. There's so many loads coming in. It's not gonna be funny, right?
No, that's it. That's the new where we are. This is not going to be a peak and then a valley. This is a peak and a plateau. This thing's going to keep going for a while, and you've got to get adjusted to it. You got to learn how to manage it. Maybe Shaggy and I were talking earlier today or yesterday. I don't remember what it was. Same thing happened to all of us in 2006. Everything, all the sun and the moon and everything aligned and all that stuff. And all of a sudden, there was way more freight out there, and there was trucks to haul it. And everybody was fighting over those 2 or 3 trucks, fighting over those trucks. And we're back there now. The difference is in 2006, we knew that would come to an end in about 9 months, 10 months, which is how long it lasted.
And the housing crash. And then
the housing crash just took it right out. Right now, there's nothing happening to change this thing. Red Dot says driver shortages isn't going to end. No, it's not going to end. And I'll touch on this while we got you guys on here, okay? I'll touch on this. These automated trucks, number one, the top 2 companies that want to put these automated trucks out there, they're broke. They're broke, all right? When you see these articles, they call them articles, in these magazines and online, those aren't articles. Those are advertisements. They're paying for that. They're trying to drag some interest in there to get somebody to invest in their company. It's the same thing that happened back in 2006 and 7 when 3 or 4 of the big carriers got together and formed the super brokerage. Remember that, Shaggy? The big super brokerage. It lasted less than a year and they went broke. It's the same thing. If we can't manage a friggin' pipeline, I mean a piece of friggin' pipe with oil going through it without getting hacked, how the hell do you think they're going to manage autonomous trucks? I mean, how long would that take?
That's why they're all losing their money.
They're losing their ass and they're going to lose. And besides that, even if they were real, even if they were making money, even if they were putting these trucks into the market, let me tell you this. They'd have to put 100,000 of those trucks into the market to even make a dent in it right now. It's produce season.
Dude, we're on track for 140,000 new MC numbers filed this year. Where do you think the drivers are?
Yeah, there's no truck drivers.
What's up, Eddie? We got Eddie DeLone and Dion. He's in there running his 3 or 4 trucks, growing like crazy. Mr. Frost says, as a power only owner operator for now, are there any shippers that work with power only? Oh, there's a ton of people work with power only, man. There's you got carriers that have brokers that work with power only to supply their trailers. There's people in Memphis. There's down in South Carolina. Power only is a different kind of trait of what you have to learn how to do, and it's not as hard. We have to talk. There's so many relationships you can build. So many people.
90% of my business is power only.
Yeah, there's a lot of power only out there but you're gonna have to get on the low boards. You're gonna have to start building networks. There's a lot of stuff you need to do. You can't just sit there and wait for the flop, especially right now when there's so many power onlys, man. There's 700 new authorities a day. I'm telling you, 699 of them aren't fucking getting a trailer.
Nobody's getting trailers right now, unless you want to pay $30,000 for a 10-year-old trailer.
Oh yeah, it's insane.
Yeah, then you can get one. Right. You can get a trailer for that. They'll sell you one for that.
Oh yeah, and you see all these 57-footers coming out for power only for Amazon, man. They're buying them like Donkey Kong on crack.
Faster than they can make them. They got them booked a year out.
You can't even put an order in after 12 months right now because the demand and the supply for the parts coming in.
It's crazy. It's crazy.
Rodney Hogan says Hogan Holding Group Inc. is in the house. What's up, Frank and Shaggy?
What's happening?
Dude, they've been going through withdrawals to hear us come and talk shit. You know that, right?
I know. It's been a while. We've been busy. I got busy. Shaggy got busy. Shaggy got so busy, all his hair fell out. I just keep growing mine. I've been growing mine for about a year because it annoys the shit out of people. And everybody I run into, dude, you need a haircut. Nah. Every time I hear that, it makes me just, I'm just going to let it.
We got so many questions coming in. Guys, keep rolling in the freaking questions. We're going to get them all.
Here's a great one. We want to lease our own trucks. There's no lease trucks. They're 90-day wait until I can get another power unit. Here's a question, Melinda. Answer me this, because we've been talking about this. Who the hell are you going to get to drive it? You can go lease all the trucks you want. You can rent them. You can go to the auction and buy 30 trucks, and you can get them. Well, they're high right now, but you can get all the trucks you want. Who's going to drive it for you? Where are you going to get a truck driver? Everybody I know right now is hurting for drivers. She says, I have a driver. Well, good for you. Good for you. You better get him a truck. Family.
That, Melinda, if you have a driver, that makes it even harder. You know, just it's hard, man. I don't know have any question for you. Like we got Deb over at Truck Country. She's trying to sell the. I mean, she can't even keep the trucks on her lot. Like they're moving like crazy.
But we went riding around last Thursday, me and Frank 3, just to see what was going on because we haven't been out to the truck. And we went to the Kenworth here in Nashville, Tennessee. Kenworth, Peterbilt, Freightliner, Volvo. Volvo usually has about 60, maybe 70 trucks on the lot. They had 3. And we are based in Nashville, Tennessee. Tell everybody.
Yeah, he said he has a team that have been driving forever. They're looking for freight to get on your list.
Oh, okay.
Evan, you're jumping ahead of the list. We're like farther back. You're like bouncing from one screen. What kind of outfit you running? You got to stay in order here, man. What the heck? Evan Rico has a question for you. He says, Frank, lining up shippers has been the biggest pain in the ass. I feel like when I talk to shippers, they are so oversaturated talking to these pop-up brokerages. They don't want to talk to you or give you the time of day. Well, you know, how are you lining them up? Yeah, I love you guys that call me, man. Like every fucking day I get somebody like Evan that calls me, and I know Evan's not he's a cool dude, right? But, you know, these people call me every day and they're like, man, I'm making hundreds of phone calls. And I'm like, well, how do you call? I call up like, hey, man, my name's Evan Rico, man. And I noticed you guys ship this kind of freight. And I was looking to get a hold of your shipping and receiving manager. And I'm looking to work with you. And they're like, hey, Evan, you got any trucks? You're like, well, I plan on getting them. I got a few lined up. Hey, Evan, well, all we want is trucks. Did you call up, start about saying I got trucks? Like in the first 5 minutes, did you say, first 3 seconds, you say, I know your lanes. I know what you ship. I know you move. I know you work with brokers and carriers already before I call. And I got trucks to move in your lanes because I know your lanes because I ain't got time as a fucking customer, Evan, to tell you right now what kind of lanes I have. Do you already know what I'm moving, where I'm moving, and how much I'm moving it for? And do you have the trucks?
So tell me we've been doing this for 2 years. Do your homework before you make those phone calls. Do your homework.
I like how he starts it off, those rookie brokers. Well, have you got trucks? Do you have trucks? Brokers that are more established than you, Evan Rico, have no trucks. So where's your fucking trucks? Do you have trucks, Evan? That's what they need right now. Everybody needs trucks and drivers and trucks and trailers and trucks and drivers. No one needs another guy that says, man, I'm better than shit, man. I got 25 years in this business. I've been a driver. I've been this. They don't give a fuck. You got trucks? You know my lanes? Can you solve my problems right now? You have fucking trucks? And if you guys have trucks and you're still on the broker board bitching about anything or gouging, you should be getting customers and building relationships right now for when it stops. We talk about this all the time. Here in another year, you guys will be on here crying about DC again. Do you mind sharing which ones? You know, I'd have to focus in right now because everybody and their mom is doing power only right now. So we'd have to talk one-on-one. I have to do some more research and help you on that to find out what's going on. Mr. Melinda says, how about broker looking for contracts in the port container field? Any advice, Frank? Shaggy, you and Frank, well, he said me, but I'm adding you in there because you're my sidekick. Shaggy, you're an awesome man. Appreciate the realness. I'm 20 minutes from the New Jersey, New York ports. Frank, lay out some port work for him.
We had a guy call us today from a port it was actually Houston, and he wanted us to move all those containers for him because he ain't got nobody to haul them. So we found out what we found out is he's contacted 5 or 6 other brokers before he called us, and he said, man, I've talked to these guys. Their rates are just too damn high.
Leon says, what does that mean? I don't know what that means, Leon. You'll have to tell me again. It's hard to keep up. I think people are having conversations. It's trailers sitting everywhere. Oh, there's trailers sitting everywhere? Did you see trailers sitting everywhere?
I see trailers sitting at customers. I see them sitting at shippers and receivers, but I don't see any trailers for sale anywhere because I've been looking for some.
Yeah, I seen them. I hear every day. I heard today from our finance guy, Harbor Capital, if we had 100 trailers right now, they'd all be gone in 5 minutes. Every fucking one of them.
Oh, yeah, they're gone. And like I said, I saw a trailer today, Shaggy, a dry van in Portland, Oregon, 2022 dry van. Just a dry van, right? Dry van. $90,000.
Dude, that's what Frank, man, we were talking to Norm at Arch Trailer Sales. Remember Norm? I bought all my trailers from him. He's been doing it for years before he sold out to ATS. He said every mom and pop backyard's gone. All the stuff's gone. Nobody's trading. None of that stuff's happening. He said Amazon's locked out anything that's loose because they can't build their factories, their warehouses fast enough. So every place they can drop a trailer, use it for storage or anything. And we haven't even hit that rush yet. We're already in trouble. Let's talk about that. Think about the hurricane. We're talking about a hurricane hits right now and pulls the trucks. We haven't even talked about fires, have we, in California?
No, fire season starts.
What about November 7th, whenever the demand for FedEx and UPS at Christmas goes nuts? What if we haven't slowed down? Where are those trucks going to come from?
In our government thing, we are still hauling Christmas freight. It's not done yet. We haven't delivered it all yet. What month is this? It's crazy. People are looking for trucks. Does Frank do training? Dude, I train, mostly I do training like with a cattle prod or a small bull whip. But yes, we, shit, yeah, we can get you in there training. Shaggy does the training. Yeah, he does the training.
Yes, Red Dot. Trailers are sitting with product because they have no capacity to get it moving trucks. They are storing shit in them left and right. You are true. Yes, guys, Eddie wants to know, we do webinars, but they are freaking sold out like crazy. We do webinars. There are 3 webinars. Frank comes in and helps on some of them. Him and Frank Jr. will do training too at their office if you guys are serious, you want to do some work. Corey does training. We have all kinds of training. But how serious are you guys? We lost Frank. Where'd Frank go? But you got to be serious. Don't come with your Korean screens on. Don't be coming half-assed. Don't be wasting time. We do serious training, man. My stuff is like 60 hours a week or for 3 weeks. It's intense. We learn brokering, trucking, calling carriers, assets, lanes, at maps, seasons, building dedicated, how to get a customer base. We talk about growing your truck, safety, compliance. We talk about what you're going to do when your driver hits Mabel and kills her and her head's fucking laying on the hood shaking like this and she can't do nothing. What if you're prepared for it? We talk about diversity, feeders and eaters, and you think about what a feeder is or an eater. An eater is a guy that's a slave to his trucks, even though he owns trucks. A feeder is a guy that provides freight, owner-operators a place to go, has the trailers, has all the stuff, uses other people's money and has all kinds of different parts to the business, An eater is a guy that acts like he owns a trucking company, but he lets everybody else run it and hasn't taken control of nothing. But the reason why he started it was because he's tired of having people run his company. That's so weird. The Bill Bennett truth hurts sometimes, but the people who listen will be so much better off. By the way, I have Friday off. I will talk to you then. What is your best time? I don't try to call when you're busy. Hey, Bill, give me a call after 5. Where did Frank go? Frank. We had a Frank on here a few minutes ago, but he disappeared. Maybe he'll come back. Let's get some more questions rolling in, man. We got all kinds of questions. Let's talk about driver recruiting. Why is driver recruiting so bad? Is it because driver recruiting, because the big carriers, little carriers don't know how to have benefits? Is it because there's 700 new authorities every day? There's Frank. Holy cow, I thought I was going to have to do it by myself. Jeez. I can't do this show without Frank. It's like having Beavis and Butthead, and Butthead's gone. Where did he go? Somebody don't like Frank. I can get all the drivers you want, but you're not going to be able to afford them, the insurance to cover them like mega carriers can. That's a good question. Now let's see if we can get Frank in here. Yay, Frank's back. Where do you keep rolling, Frank?
What happened with that? I don't get it.
Evan says, I can get all the drivers you want, but you won't be able to afford the insurance and the mega carriers. Yeah, but because a lot of carriers can't take 2 years or newer. They can't take guys with risk. They can't do anything. The problem isn't the drivers, guys. The problem is there's plenty of drivers. The problem is everybody wants to have their own authority. They want to own their own trucking company.
They want to be owner operators. And there's a bunch of people out there that get in a Prime truck or a Swift truck, one of those trucks, and they're perfectly happy to do that. perfectly happy to do that. But even those guys, at some point, sooner or later, they get the bug and they want to be an owner operator. They want to own their own truck, and do their own thing. And here with us, we got older trucks, we got paper logs, we got, all that stuff. And we're a small company. We're a bunch of good old boys, and we do it the old school way. But I tell you what, we take care of each other. We make damn good money, and we have a lot of fun doing it.
That's the thing. It's like Melendez, he says, I have drivers in trucks, but that are home every night. They just don't want to drive OTR. I understand. It's crazy how everybody is different in this industry. You know what I mean? Some guys want to be home on weekends. Some guys want to go out and make as much money because they don't have a wife and kid and they want to make thousands of dollars. They don't care if they run illegal to do it. Some guys know what their wife and house and car look like and be home every weekend and make consistency and know they have a paycheck coming. Some guys want to have their own authority. Some guys want to have their own authority and let people dispatch them. Some guys, until they find out all the bad stuff that happens. Some guys want to open up a trucking company, get their wife involved, get their daughter involved, and be able to book loads, grow their truck, and have owner operators and become a broker and do all these different things in the business and make a big old company. Some guys want to.
The hardest thing to do is to match everything up Shaggy's talking about. He talks about this in his training classes. All the time when you're interviewing a driver. What do you want? What do you need? What are your expectations? What are we going to do? Here's the thing. If you got a trucking company, a small truck company, large one, I don't care. And you got customers, they've got certain things they want done. And when you hire a driver and you buy a piece of equipment, you got to have the right equipment and the right driver to do that work. Otherwise, you don't have a customer. And if you don't have a customer, you don't have a truck company. Because I tell you what, it's a lot of fun right now playing around with the load boards and hanging the brokers and doing all. That's a lot of fun right now. But 7-8 months ago, those guys that rely just on freight chasing were running for 60 cents a mile. It's fun right now.
Frank,
it's a lot of fun.
Frank, we've been having too much fun. That's like a year ago now.
I know.
Yep. Miss Melinda says, my insurance company will not allow me to add CDL holders anywhere from the East Coast.
You need a new insurance company. Get a new insurance company.
Red Dot says, I did OTR for CRST Route 10 across the country, Cali to Florida. I used to love running across there, man. That was the longest stretch ever.
Yeah.
Always
it's like 2 weeks. 839 miles across Texas, seems like in this state.
That is a long trip too, man. All the way across there. Dude, when you start out of California, drop there and go past that General Patton Museum that's sitting out in the middle of nowhere, and then you get into Arizona, that is the longest strip across.
Right. I used to do it before 10 was finished. We used to have to get off the interstate in Ozona, Texas, get off the interstate and run 136 miles through these little towns and 2-lane roads and shit, and get back up on the interstate at the New Mexico line because it wasn't finished yet.
My favorite part was taco trucks in California.
Oh, yeah.
And crawfish in Louisiana. I used to love that Tiger truck stop, man. It had the lions behind
Still there. Last time I was down there, it's been about a year and a half.
That's so crazy, dude. I was like, the first time I walked back there, I was like, holy cow, man, that's crazy.
Oh, yeah. Etouffee, baby.
Yeah, I love that stuff, man. It was awesome. Let's get into talking about why carriers aren't going after customers. Are they blinded by the rates of brokers right now and the freight that's so easy?
Most of the carriers I know aren't going after, the bigger ones aren't going after customers because they can't satisfy the ones they got.
Brokers can't satisfy it, man. Corey got new customers today, and he can't even take it up. The nurseries in Grand Rapids have their own trucks. They can't even get trucks to cover the freight on the round trip loads right now.
Not happening. Most of the big companies I know, and I've got a real good friend. He might be watching. I don't know. He told me the other night he was 565 trucks short, just with his dedicated customers. And his customers are calling him every day, wanting him to add more. But he's already 565 trucks short just on the contracts he's got right now.
Jeff says Teresa and him were, I think this is Jeff I know now. I'm just paying attention like an idiot. Home a week in 10 months doing the entertainment. They used to haul the concert stuff around, like all the musicians and stuff, the country singers and all that, Frank?
Yeah, I know
For
some of
months
them.
at a time. I know you live right down the street by some.
Well, we did some. It's been about 15 years ago. Well, I'll tell you when it was. It was when the Dixie Chicks first started making their records because they wanted us to haul them around in a bus with a trailer on it. That's how big they were. They weren't big or anything yet, and they wanted us to hook up a trailer to their bus and haul them around. And we hauled for them, and we hauled for a couple other guys. And what we found out was, most of the time those assholes don't pay their bills, so we quit doing it. And it's hard to get drivers that want to do that anyway. It's a hard job, and it doesn't pay very much. It's not a great job.
It's funny too, because you run across like that company called Broadway out of Effingham and all that. That
Oh
does
yeah,
stuff. They don't even pay their bills. Their credit's horrible.
no,
You can't even haul freight for them.
Stage Call, all those guys, and the problem is these record companies, these management companies. Like we have one guy, and I'm not going to call his name. He was a big star, and we had 3 trucks out with him. And I finally had to threaten just to drop the trailers at a truck stop and bring the trucks home just to get them to pay part of the bill. They never did want to pay their bills. So, I mean, as far as entertainment goes, you might think it's cool. It is not cool. It's shit. You drive all night long, bust your ass, get where you're going. They offload your trailer, set everything up. You go to bed while all the fun is going on, the show and all that. They wake your ass up, you load out, close the doors, and you drive all night and you do it again, for those guys. And, they're going to cities mostly, big cities, so it's tight. It's hard to get in and out of. I mean, you can have all that. And they don't pay. They don't pay shit.
I want to talk about the dispatching, though. Back to the dispatching.
Okay. Yeah, let's talk about dispatching.
Because dispatching is the key to your business. It's the operations. It's the fundamental part of your safety, your compliance, your operations. Why has there so many dispatching services taking over the industry? I was on Freightways the other day, and I was seeing all these people saying how necessity of dispatching services for a stepping stone for when you start, but they don't build your business up for you. They're not finding your customers, but you're like they're finding your brokers, but that's not customers. But they're building relationships, but you're not filling out the broker packets. They are. They're putting their names on them. You don't get the emails. You don't know who they are. Half the brokers they fill out, you don't even know. You need to take your name off of them when you quit. And then it's like I seen somebody arguing with the highway bill because the Freightways is all over this new law that's getting ready to get snuck in because we have the new Congress people out there that are probably going to get paid by TIA to put the bill in this time finally, or however it works. It's coming to an end, right? 1 and 2. So it's funny. It's so funny. Like they're like, because a dispatching service can negotiate the best rates, but do they build relationships? No, but they negotiate your really high rates. But when the rates are gone and the low boards suck, what do they do for you? That's my question, Frank. What do they do?
What do they do? They take your money.
But then when they're driving, they get the best rate for you. But on the broker side, for all the brokers out there, whenever you don't have a relationship with the carrier that actually makes the decisions and a dispatcher does it for you, did somebody tell? It's funny because I always ask, but when the carrier says no, and you have to give the load back because you booked it already, and you give it back to the broker, does the broker just give it back to the customer and you say fuck it and go on?
Not if they want to keep the customer.
What do you mean?
Because if you give a load back to a customer 99 times out of 100, and they're going to give it to somebody else, then whoever that guy is just got his foot in the door. Now your ass is out.
So is that where that carrier comes from? That no one.
And I will tell you this while we're on here talking, guys, while everybody's on here and we're chit chatting, I am a broker, and we do mostly 90% of what we do or more is dedicated freight. So we use the same carriers. Most of them use my trailers and all that stuff. But when we do, on a rare occasion, when we do put a load on a load board, I will not work with a dispatch service ever. Not happening. We got to talk to the people that run the trucks. End of story. Too much liability dealing with somebody that doesn't have any insurance, doesn't have any authority, doesn't have anything to protect them or me. Too much liability. Not worth it. I'd rather not cover the load than deal with it.
It's funny too, because you really think about it, right? I always hate it when a guy says, I hate paperwork. Well, why did you get in trucking? I hate paperwork. Why'd you get trucking? You have to always deal with paperwork, but I don't like doing packets. But you like texting your wife while you go to the bathroom while you're in the truck. Well, that's about as long as it takes to do a broker packet. But I don't like doing paperwork. But it only takes like 4 or 5 minutes. It's you have the Trucker Edge app on your phone. You call the broker. The broker calls you. You post the truck. Then you go click, 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 send. Click, 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 send. You do it like walking to the pisser. You know what I mean? And the thing is, would you get load boards before you go active? So why didn't you actually call for yourself and find out what freight really pays and who has the freight or who will actually use you before you started? Why do you think you can't?
It baffles me. It just, I don't have, I can't answer it. I don't know.
I mean, is it that hard to pick up the phone and say, hey, I'm a big bad trucker that had enough money to pay $20,000 for insurance, $50,000 to $100,000 for a truck, buy a trailer, have drivers, and commit to paying their household bills, but I can't call a broker and book a load and do a paperwork because it's too hard. Because I can't negotiate. I don't like talking to people. Then why did you start a fucking trucking company?
What are you doing? Why would you? I mean, would you do any business and just turn it over and let some third party take it over and run it for you?
I mean, seriously, it's like what I was going to do is have Corey send me a broker packet while we're talking. And I was going to be like, here, let me do my phone. Yeah, filling out broker packet real quick. Take like 2 minutes. What are you doing? Attaching my MC Authority Insurance. It's saved in my PDF. It's really easy. I go click, click, click. Yeah. Then they send me a Raycon, and I already have my signature saved in DocuSign. Real quick. I go click and then send.
Depending on who you deal with, all that stuff's going away too. It's all going away too. I'll tell you, all the big companies, somebody asked a question earlier, how do I get set up with the big boys? They've got their own brokerage. And if you got a trucking company or one truck or 10 trucks or 100 trucks, and you call and you get set up with, I'm going to use them for an example, no other reason. Let's say you get set up with Schneider and you become a carrier for Schneider. All you do is go on their load board and you've already gotten qualified. You've already gotten set up. They already know who you are. You're in their system. All you do is find the load you want and click on it. And it sends it to you. You don't call anybody. You don't negotiate. You don't talk to anybody. You see the load. You see the rate. You click on it. It automatically sends it to your phone or your tablet, whatever you got. You don't have to sign anything. You just have to go pick the load up. And they'll pay you. And they'll pay you as fast as you get empty. It's hard to compete with those guys. They got their shit together.
Man, Nate just showed up. Holy cow! What's up, Nate?
Dang. Oh, Nate, man, I completely forgot today. I got so damn busy. Call me tomorrow.
Let's go. Melinda says, I took your advice. I took your advice, Shaggy, and I talked to develop the B2B relationships. Whoops, back up. Relationships. We agreed on a lane and a rate, etc. And because they had to have any auto coverage on the insurance, and mine says scheduled, right? Yep, that's a difference. That's a big scheduled auto is one because it's a risk of the carriers, and any autos is another. I wasn't able to haul for them because I didn't qualify as a big enough carrier. It happens, guys. A lot of the big ones that are out there, man, they want $1 million. Like ConAgra wants $1 million in cargo insurance straight up the front, not liability. $1 million in cargo. A lot of these big guys aren't as easy as what everybody imagined, just running out there and get them. Like, I'm going to run right out and give me a setup with Menards and Dollar General. Yeah, you might work for a broker with Menards as a carrier underneath their dispatching side pulling their trailers, but you're not going to broker it.
Christian says, you kidding me? Schneider calls me daily, same broker, and books me for the week. They love you. Those guys are loving you.
Dude, it's like, what's crazy is...
And they'll all do that. It's not just Schneider. They'll all do it. All the big brokers, if they get a truck, a guy with like 1 or 2 trucks, and he'll hang with them and just haul freight for them, they'll all do that. They will run your ass off. And there's good and bad for that. We'll get into it next time we have a show. We'll get into that. There's good and bad about that because you're hauling freight for somebody else, and it's their freight. It's not your freight. It's their freight. So do you spend time hauling that freight when you could be developing your own, working on your own? Or is it just so convenient and so easy? You get on their board, you click on that load, bang, Sure.
Like
Pick it
Charles
up,
Morgan
deliver
said,
it, you're done.
so people just don't know how to multitask or work a computer. But it's not really multitasking because that's a fucking lie. Because you talk to your wife and you drive your truck, you talk to your wife, shovel food, talk to wife, pull your plants up. It's not fucking multitasking. It's called lack of education. And why the fuck did you get your authority? You know what I mean? Did you get your authority to what was the point? I mean, everybody starts their authority because they want to be an investor, they want to own a company, they want to do something better for their family, or they didn't like who they worked for before. They want to run their own business.
Oh yeah.
Well, I'm not a multitasker. Yeah, you can't do safety, you can't do appliance, you can't do this, you can't do that, you can't do anything but just drive a truck. Then why the fuck you get your authority? That's what you're gonna. What's up, David Bollies? Bollies. And agro from there to Vancouver, and then they're from Chicago, but they coming down and out. Fuel rates are down. I lost that one.
I haven't seen any rates come down. I'm not sure who you're dealing with, but I haven't seen any rates coming down.
Nate said, do you guys know of any credit check for direct shippers? Really, you got like Cortora, and then there's another one called Load something. And the big one out there, a lot of people do is TransCredit.
TransCredit.
It's about $349 a year, and it gives you like 50 to 100 credit checks or something like that. But it helps you build your credit too. So there's a lot of them. There's other factoring companies that are coming out. I won't say their names, that have a few other credit checking too. But that's some of the big ones that are out there, like TransCredit and stuff like that. XPDO does it. JB Hunt. You guys will be surprised. You guys understand this, right? There's two kinds of worlds, and you guys need to get this through your head. And a lot of you guys won't fucking listen to me or Frank, so it don't really matter. I don't care. You know what I mean? But we're trying to help you here. When I do map training in my weekly classes and stuff, I teach that map behind my head. Right there, up there. That map. See, I teach about all those regions, building dedicated routes, the seasons, the 7 different areas you go to, what pays more, what don't. And, and whenever I do research as a broker or even a carrier, I may not run that whole area, but I want to know everything that moves in that area, right, Frank? I want to know who has it, who's got it, how they're moving it, how it works, how it plays into my plan. I don't want to be a freight chaser. And there's 2 things that you need to know. Number one, you guys act like the load boards are your friends. They're not. They're corrupted by a bunch of people that put rates on the board, and when it's in your favor, you win. When it's not, they win. But did you know there's a world outside that where there's so many brokers, even with the rates they are now, that aren't even on that load board no more? You don't see a lot of brokers like Hub Group and so many different brokers that deal with ports and this and that, the projects. You don't see PF Pfizer. You don't see the milk run. You don't see flatbed contracts with windmill blades and all the specialized shit. You don't see Girl Scout cookies, Halloween, all the seasonal stuff. You don't see anything that's projects, dedicated seasonal stuff coming up, nursery stuff until the last minute. You don't see nothing because there's 2 worlds. One's called a load board world, where you 1 minute you're bitching, the other minute you're smiling because you're raping everybody, gouging. The other world is the guys that are building consistency, relationships, building products, selling their carriers, their owner operators, and their customers, and they're making money 4 and 5 and 6 different ways. That's a real world. That's the world where those guys don't even know that the low boards are even paying as high as they do because they don't give a fuck. Because when COVID was here and when COVID's gone, they'll still be making $325 a mile or $350. But their cost of operations is $2 or $275 or $250. And they're keeping their drivers and they're retaining them over and over because they're so busy, Frank, that they don't have time to see the bullshit.
You're not going to see it anyway. If you subscribe to DAT and Internet Truck Stop, you might be getting a look at about, 3% of the freight that's out there that's available every day. Maybe. All those big guys that got it, they got their own brokerage, and they don't use DAT. They don't use Internet Truck Stop. You got to log on to their shit and get qualified for their shit and haul their freight. Okay, all the big guys are doing that now. They're all doing it. And then you got brokers that have relationships like me. I don't put loads on load board. I don't have to. Everybody calls me up on we get our loads for next week on Thursday, tomorrow. We get them all. Everybody calls me up and wants to know what they're doing next week. By 5 or 6 o'clock on Thursday afternoons, we've got next week already lined out.
But like, how hard is it? Like, you go file your authority, right? You wait 21 days, you go active, and then you're fucked for like 7 to 30 days, depending on what state you are in, to get your plates if you didn't have them before in your IFTA. So you're sitting there with your thumb stuck up your ass, twiddling, listening and crying because you can't go to work. Why didn't you get a load board? Why didn't you fill out a bunch of packets while your MC's active? Why didn't you get a whole bunch of brokers within 3 to 500-mile radius? Why aren't you making $6 to $8 to $9, $10,000 a week doing your home, letting them call you emailing one time a day or posting your truck, and constantly building a relationship or a network so you don't need to give anybody your hard-earned fucking money?
I think people don't do that, what you're talking about, because they don't know the difference. They just don't know. They don't have that information.
They don't.
That's the guy you see on Facebook going, yeah, I ain't paying for none of that training. That's bullshit. So I ain't paying for that because that's bullshit. That's bullshit. Let me tell you something. That's fucking bullshit, and I ain't gonna pay for it. So anyway, can anybody here tell me how to get started as a new broker? Because that's where you're gonna get your best info, on a fucking Facebook page from a bunch of pissed off truck drivers. Good luck with that.
It's either they're pissed off or some guy's got a chandelier go-to sparkling when he talks. Or around, or some guy showing $1,000. So do I have to go get $1,000 and put the $100 bills out and say, look what I got $2,000 and $100 bills. You making that kind of coin?
Oh yeah, that's what they do. That's what you get. Get what you pay for on those websites.
You're going out there. One guy gets on a FreightWaves thing, or he gets on some rappers thing, or whatever he's got. You got everybody in the world. There's more fucking dispatching services out there than there's freaking drivers. You're like, that's because they're doing such a great job. They're negotiating the highest rate. Well, what happens when they can't? What is it? Gods get the earth? They're not gods get the earth. I dispatched forever, like all the time. I had many, many carriers. And if I could go back and not do it again because of all the carriers that I dispatched, and it's not that we didn't make them good money, it's because they didn't run their business while they were doing it.
They didn't learn. They didn't pick it up. They didn't get it. That's the thing. I think that's the thing. I think if somebody actually spent a couple hours, sitting through one of your webinars, or even just sitting here listening to you and me talk,
20 minutes.
They will pick up things and go, well, shit, why not? I'm thinking that. And this is just, guys, man, this is just stuff we talk about all day, every day. This is stuff we do.
It's like a guy's like, well, how's the driver that's driving down the road make money while he's building network so he can be home? Well, I said, why don't the driver go and post his truck in 3 or 4 or 5 cities within 300 or 400 miles of his house and keep the truck posted all the time? So when brokers call, he says, yeah, while he's driving on his Bluetooth. Yeah, what do you need? This is Frank. Is this Frank? Frank says, yeah, I'm calling about your truck posted. You got this lane? I see you're going to go from Columbus to Indianapolis. Oh, yeah. Yeah. How many of those you have? Well, we have one every Tuesday, Thursday, and every Tuesday and Thursday for the next 6 weeks. Really? Wow, that's like 300 miles. What's that pay? Well, we're going to be doing 1,500 on all those. Nope, I'd rather go have some guy run me 500, 600 miles and never go home every other night and do it because, but I don't want to post and do that kind of work because I'm not computer. All I got to do is go on my phone and hit post. And those cities from one direction next, and all these hundreds of people that don't have trucks will call you. You're like, well, how many of those got? How often you got them? Is that the best you can do on it? Well, shit. How long does it take me? About 5 minutes. Well, that would cover the next 15 loads. Yeah, fill out a packet, 5 minutes, sign the rate con, and we'll send you a whole bunch. When you get a few minutes, sign the rest of them. You're booked out. Well, okay. And then you just keep your trucks posted all the time, and all these people keep calling you, and you pick some more. And it's crazy. It saves you 5 to 10% for somebody else doing it. Like, that's dumb.
I would say, I saw a broker make a music video selling their training class. Yeah, if I was going to do that, it would be called The Bitches Back.
I wouldn't drum up no dedicated runs. You should go and use the highest dollar because they're the best. Go use Smart Hop and those guys like that. They are fucking out of the world for you. They are there. Except for the guy that's promoting it's the one that's getting paid all the time. He doesn't care whenever you're like, well, Smart Hop didn't really do me right. You're like, well, if I you did you tell them I sent you that about Ben Water for you? You know what I mean? Well, no, but you got your cut off everybody that came through them. Did you like that paycheck you got? Because I ain't get one. Oh wait, I wasn't supposed to say that, was I?
No, you were.
Okay. Do you help people?
You help people start their own companies. Yeah, that's exactly what he does.
That's exactly what we do. We have trucking and brokering, and we set up authorities. We teach you and Richard. So while Richard's out there driving, Don, before Richard goes active, you can already know the myth that brokers not using you in the first 90 days is full of shit. You know what I mean? And you know what? Here's something funny for you guys too. We got this guy named Heath that's in our group. He's been in business for like 15 months now. He called me up about, I don't know, about 15 months ago. Actually, it was about 16. He said, I was on the way to Tampa, and he said, hey, I need to use a load board. And I was like, here, use mine. And he went on there and he found out where the freight was moving out of his house, and he got customers. Now he's got 3 trucks and he's going to 5. We talked to him today, and he was mentoring one of my other guys. And he's only booked 9 loads on the load boards in 14 months, and his wife's not even helping him. I can only imagine what he'd do if his wife was actually helping him. It's crazy. And he did all that before he started, is it right, Heath? You've talked to Heath. He's so busy now, he took his Facebook off just so he can stay occupied on what he's doing because he's tired of seeing the stupid shit. Do you help people? Oh, yeah, we are in Florida and want to start our own. You should start your own. You need to learn dispatching, build a network, why Florida sucks at certain times, where you're going to have to go, how you're going to get yourself home, and how you're going to grow that company whenever Richard gets out there and has a heart attack or if his truck breaks down, how you're going to bring on other trucks so you can grow your business. But don't listen to me like all you guys out there. Go use a dispatching service. They will do all that for you.
I'd love to see that other 97% of the freight. Christian, everybody would. I mean, everybody wants to see that. And unless you're set up with those carriers to be a hauler for them, to be a carrier for them, they're not going to show it to you. I mean, you know what it is. If you're out there in a truck or you're in the business, you know what it is. Because just in this little town here in Nashville that I live in, there's all kind of shippers around here. You never see their loads on a load board. Ever. Nothing ain't going to happen. So, yeah, I mean,
first off, XPO don't care about you unless you get on their direct lanes. And XPO does have freight that doesn't hit the load board. They have a shit ton of freight. They have a shit ton of brokers that are actually helping them move freight. They're very, very large. K. Brennan and Sons, I don't know who that is. But NFI, they don't give a shit about you, actually. You're talking about the wrong brokers. We're talking about brokers like Frank. There's a lot.
Those guys, Christian, are really, really, really good.
That's awesome.
At not letting you see their customers. Really good at it. That's their living. That's how they keep it. You come haul freight for me, you're never going to talk to my customers, never.
So, but there's a different world to it, right? And so you see a load board world. Every broker out there. Why has C.H. Robinson got $40 million contracts with PF Pfizer, but you don't see one of those medicine loads on the load board there, Christian? Tell me. Who's hauling them? They're only a broker. They don't have a carrier. So who's hauling those $1 million contracts? You think they went into Pfizer and said, hey, we're going to put $40 million worth of contracts of freight on here where the pallet's worth $1 million and we don't have the carriers to haul it yet, but we're going to go find them. Can we get this contract? Pfizer's like, sure. We'll just let you do that. Yeah. You don't have no plan or anything. We'll give you this stuff,
Yeah. People are good at that. I just got into tanking and thinking that's what I'm going to base my business on. What do you think about the tanker division? Doesn't sound good.
That's the guy that asked the question in the group, Frank.
Yeah.
We were talking about it earlier.
Yeah.
Are you going to tell him again now that he's here?
That's what I'm saying. I don't know where to turn. I'm just calling everyone and shaking every tree. That's what you got to do, Kristen. Those people are not. Those people are not going to show you their customers or their loads, because if you can see their loads, you can pretty much figure out who the customers are, right? I mean,
Yeah.
let's face it.
So that's wow. So Christian, if you call all those guys and you get set up on their email list and in their portals and stuff and their internal load boards that aren't that, right? And they send you emails of tons of freight. That would definitely have the lanes of the freight and who they're working for, right, Frank?
Oh yeah.
Huh.
It's not hard to figure it out.
Well, so so it's like you're gonna call them and be like, "Hey, this is Christian. I don't want none of your cheap stuff. I want the good stuff I hear about all the time, the stuff that's not on the load boards." They're like, "Yeah, but we really don't care. We don't really want to tell you that right out front."
Yeah, we want you to haul the stuff on the load board. That's why it's out there.
Yeah,
That's what we want you to do, buddy.
Yeah,
until we know who you are, until we know you're going to pick up and deliver on time, until we know what your safety rating is, until we know that you're a reliable carrier, all that shit you see on that is for you.
Or you're going to learn how to see between the lines with these customers that Frank talk about all the time, and you're going to learn how to be creative. But if you go do what I'm getting ready to talk about to get those customers, I hope you got more than one truck. I hope you can do more volume than they are, right, Frank?
That's right.
Because otherwise, going direct to those customers that you're looking for, that they have, and getting on that freight, there's two things going to happen. One, you're going to have to prove yourself to them to get that stuff. And number two, if you're going to go after that freight, how are you? This is like all these dummies that are taking these broker trainings like crazy. They're like, yeah, you guys got a stimmy check. You guys want to be brokers? You guys got to
send me your stimmy check. Send me your stimmy check.
You're gonna be home on week. You want to be home and home-based business. You guys got any customers, and we did take care of it. You just call us up. You bang out hundreds of calls. You be like, this is Susie. I'm Susie with Susie's brokerage. It's like going to church in front of your preacher and standing next to him, looking at the whole group out there, and be like, hey, fuck you, right there at church. When you say brokers, you know what I mean? Like you walk up, you're standing next to Frank the preacher, and you're looking at all the people in the pews. You're like, hey, fuck you. That's what it sounds like when you call these people up and you're like, hey, I'm a broker and I'm really good. I don't know where your lanes are. I don't know what trucks you have. I don't even know if the guy has it. It's like when you back solicit, right? It's so funny when people talk about, I tried back soliciting one time. It was really good. I was like, well, when you back solicited for that one load, even though the guy in the shipping was fucking talking shit about the broker and you had a load, you think the broker's a dummy. Did you know that broker was doing 100 loads and you're trying to get one?
Yeah. And you try, when you go in there and go, man, don't worry about that broker. Just call me from now on. They instantly turn around and pick up the phone and call the broker. Hey, that asshole you just sent in here to pick up that load, he's trying to get your account away from him. You don't want to use that guy anymore.
I know, right? Hey, Christian, that's what I'm saying. I don't know where to turn. I'm just calling everyone a shaking trees. You need to give me a call and let's talk on that phone number that's rolling it. And
there's a way to get focused on this. It's not as dismal as you think it is. I mean, there's a way to focus in on this thing and narrow it down to the customers you want. Number one, if you go out there and grab a customer and right off the bat they go, hell yeah, I'm going to give you my freight. Better be careful. Better check and make sure they pay their bills. Better make sure their freight's not overweight. Make sure it doesn't take them 5 hours to load a truck. Because no matter what you do, if you grab a customer and their freight sucks or it takes them 5 hours to load, or if you got to load and unload in some alleyway, or if it's all this bullshit attached to it, you ain't gonna move it anyway.
My favorite guys are the ones like, I'm calling lots of brokers looking for that great freight shaking trees. And it's like, well, if I went to your 2-truck email account right now where you're setting up with brokers, how many emails of freight do you have coming in? They're like, I got a couple. Oh, do you have hundreds? I mean, you're calling these brokers getting set up, or are you getting set up on their internal load boards? Are you getting email lists? Are you making connections at each one of them? And are you doing it? And when you get those email lists, are you taking the time to find out where those lanes are coming out of and what commodities are and where they're running, and seeing if you're really interested in them behind the scenes because they're too lazy on the phone to tell you? You have to do the investigation of what they really have yourself. Or are you too busy running your 2 trucks trying to stay ahead of the game right now? You know how many times people tell me, I'm like, what do you do with those emails? I read them a couple of times, but the rates are cheap on them. I just throw them. I'm like, that's cool, man. Yeah.
Yeah. Emails are wonderful. But Christian, you need to focus on the business that's right around you. You know, that's right around you, and start building relationships with those people. Those are the relationships that last anyway. Those are the ones that hold up. These guys out there that are giving their loads, just pushing them out to 20 brokers. That's not a customer. That's a joke. You waste more time moving some of those loads than you'll ever get back out of it. Ever.
And most of the brokers he listed on there, anyways, they're not looking for relationships, anyways.
No.
But the XPO has it though, man. They got everything from Pioneer to everything. They have a lot, but you're gonna have to earn your way into that and find the broker that actually has it. When you're on the load board, you remember half these guys that you're talking to on the load board are double brokers, or they're people like Frank or Corey that are on there because they don't have enough carriers, and the ones they had jumped ship, or
they're loaded,
or there's some peon that got out of college yesterday you're trying to build a relationship with. Pretty much.
Yeah.
Hey, Frank, I went around to all my old connections from my LTL days, and they used 3PLs mostly. Well, yeah, probably with LTL.
The first thing Frank Jr. does when he gets a new customer is he develops a carrier list for that customer. It doesn't take him long, usually a week or two, and he'll develop the same carriers, because when he answers the phone, when his girls answer the phone, they'll say, how many trucks you got? How often are you here? Do you come here a lot? Are you based around? Where are you based? Where do you like to run to? They'll qualify that carrier, and they'll put all that stuff in the computer. And before long, I mean, really and truly, in a week or two, they'll have 7 or 8 carriers to haul that freight for them. And then it never goes on the broker board after that. Never goes on that. They just call the guys that they're already set up with, that they already know, that they're already familiar with. They've talked to their drivers, and their drivers know how to get to the place to deliver, without calling somebody up 3 o'clock in the morning. I don't know how to get in there. The gate's closed. Well, it's 3 o'clock in the morning, asshole. They don't open at 6. They do all that stuff. So that's the way the business works. In our world, we want to build relationships. We want to use the same guys all the time. Get familiar, have relationships, depend on each other. That's what's critical for us, and that's what we're doing right now. That's what we're doing. We got a lot of customers are calling us right now because they can't get their freight code. Hey, can you do this? Hey, can you do that? And it's not stuff that we ordinarily do. It's not lanes that we typically cover for them. And we want to try. We want to help them. We want to be there for them. So we'll grab that stuff and stick it out there on the low boards and see what we can do. But I tell them when they do that, or Frank, I don't. Frank thing. He'll say, hey, look, I can cover this thing for you, but it's going to be $3 or $4 a mile. And you know that, right? Because I don't want you to call me back all pissed off. You want a truck? I'll find you one. But here's what it's going to cost. And that's where we're at right now. That's where we're at. That's what this business is right now. And realize when we're on here, we talk to brokers. Like right now, we're talking to 30-some people, 40 people, whatever. And there's brokers in there. There's people just starting out. There's people that want to be brokers. There's trucking companies. There's people in here with 1 truck or 2, and there's people in here with 15 trucks. And we try to do something, when we get on here and talk for an hour, which it's over an hour now. But, when we get on here and talk for an hour, we try to talk about things that interest everybody, that keep everybody interested. The bottom line is all this stuff that we talk about, all this stuff that we get into, is stuff that if we do this every day. When Shaggy calls me in the morning, we just start talking about the business because that's what we do. We speak the language. That's what we do. And that's what we want you guys to do. That's the point we want to get you to, is so that, Shaggy says, why would somebody do this? Why would somebody do that? Those are hypothetical questions that the answer to is, if they had the knowledge, if they had the information, if they had the background, they wouldn't do those things. They wouldn't ask those questions. You can tell when we're sitting here doing these go live things that we do them. We love doing them. But you can tell by some of the questions. All right, here's a question. This guy's brand spanking new. You can tell by the question.
It's
by the way the question is asked.
When a dispatcher calls, everybody's like, they're so good at the guys. Brokers are like,
where should you start? Red Dot. I mean, you should start by taking one of Shaggy's webinars. And you should take all of them, but I mean, any one that you start with is going to be a good place to start. Because if you're in the trucking business, you need to know about brokers. And if you want to be a broker, if you want to get into that business, if you're already a broker and you want to get better at it, you need to know about the dispatch, the carrier side. So all those three things are tied together at the end. And really, one without the other, you're going to leave stuff on the table.
Yeah, because if you're a broker and you think you're going to do great buying somebody's customer list and you just started yesterday, you're not going to do anything. I mean, these guys that go into all these broker trainings are so dumb. They call me all the time and it's like, yeah, I can't get customers.
It's a joke.
I'm calling them all the time, Frank. I can't get customers. I'm like, well, what are you saying? And they're like, well, I'm calling and I'm telling them I'm a broker and I'm telling them I got the resources to solve their problems and I'm looking for the ship receiving guy named Steve I got off LinkedIn and I'm calling them and they just don't talk to me or they don't answer, or if I get an RFP, don't want to use it. I'm like, did you even post a load on the board and see if anybody would call you if you had one? Did you, if you were a broker right now and you guys went out there and you moved your first 2 loads, and on a second load, a guy runs over a porta potty and leaks shit all over the concrete, crushes the porta potty, and the customer sends you a bill for $10,000 plus $500 for the cleanup and $500, and they take everything they owe you plus send you a bill. Do you have the money in the bank to cover that for 90 days? Because that's what it's going to take before you get paid.
That's what's going to happen.
Well, did you not?
I tell the story. I've told it 100 times. We're in the dedicated tanker business, food grade tankers, and we have power only trucks out there pulling. One of these guys flipped a tanker, rolled it over 2 years ago. I had to go back and pay for everything until the insurance paid me, because my customer wanted paid right now, $57,000. Took me almost 2 years to get it all back.
Shit, most claims take that Corey had. He had 5 of them this last year, and every one of them was no less than 90 days.
Yeah.
The one we posted in there where the guy got waxed on the railroad tracks, that was $57,000.
$57,000. That's what I'm talking about.
120 days.
Yeah. And the customer wants their money now. What are you going to do?
Oh, my favorite part is you're like, I got a factoring company. You're like, oh yeah, that's great. What's the factoring company do for you? Well, it offers quick pay, helps you build credit. Well, how's it build credit for you when it never actually does anything for you? You're like, what do you mean? Well, it receives payments from the customers and it pays to other factoring companies and the carriers. So those guys get credit, but you don't. What? Well, wait, are you serious? Yeah, because only the factoring companies report. So the quick pays don't do nothing for you, because it's just like when you go to a restaurant, buy food, when Frank goes out with his wife and he pays for something, if he runs back and pays the credit card off in 5 days, right? Does he build any credit on his credit card, or does he need to wait 21 days? Huh. So you want to be a broker, right? And you got all the claims. What happens when you call your customer and tell them about that urinal they got busted over? They shut down credit on your customer. It's the only one you got. Or when you need to get the $10,000 from your carrier, you don't have it in the bank, and you call up the only carrier that gave you credit, right? And we'll pull for you because you're new and say, hey, you know those 3 loads I owe you for? Since you had that claim, I'm going to have to take that money and recourse you.
Yeah.
Now you have no credit.
TQL is famous for that. They can owe you for 10 loads, but if they come up with a $182 claim on one of your loads, they'll hold all 10 of those loads until you pay that claim. That is illegal, by the way. It's illegal. It's illegal for them to do that. But let me tell you something.
They make a living off that.
They know. Yeah, they've got people in upstairs on one floor that's all they do is deny, because they know you're small. And they know you won't go out and get a lawyer and sue the shit out of them. And they know if you do, it's going to take you 3 to 6 months before you ever even get heard of. And they know if you do that, you'll settle for 28 cents on the dollar. They already know that. So they just screw your brains out because they can.
You know how many carriers start out with dispatching services that the dispatching services favorite list is TQL, Allen Lund, Suntech, Coyote, Allen Lund,
Oh, yeah.
and all the Integrity, Lipsy, Edge, and all these brokers that every one of them will do that exact same thing, but you're not going to pay for it because they just booked a loan. God, how I know that would happen. Oh my gosh. I'm so sorry because I should know better. Red Dot says your training teaches you how to handle all those problems. Well, fuck yeah. I mean,
in detail, great detail.
In fucking great detail. How you open a brokerage or a trucking company or a dispatching your own company without understanding the fucking problems you're going to run into before you start. Whoa, you guys think this was a fucking get rich quick business? That's the problem, is all these fuckers that are out here that have those claims and mess up and get bond violations and stuff. They never come back and put it on Facebook because they're running down the road going back to Taco Bell with their tail stuck up their fucking ass. Oh, my bad. I shouldn't cuss like that. We'll get blocked by Mark Zuckerberg. My bad. But, just keep signing 700 new authorities. Don't even know how they're going to pay for drivers. They've already bought equipment. They haven't built a network. They don't know about building brokers and customers before they start because they don't know no better. All they want to do is get their authority, go out there and fight that shitty credit, and go out there and pay all their hard-earned money to drop it.
You don't have to have anything now. You don't have to have anything. They'll sell you a truck and a trailer. If you find one right now, they'll sell you one. Then you can get a factoring company to pay off all your carriers and do your collections. That'll cost you another arm and leg. But you don't have to have anything anymore to start a trucking company, or especially a brokerage. You don't have to have anything anymore. You can just walk in there with all you got to have is a phone number and a computer. You don't need anything else.
Half the guys that walk in there, man, they're like, it's like, what kind of business you running? I don't know, but it's all leased. So if something happens, I just get rid of it.
I'll just get rid of it and go back to filling up Coke machines like I was doing.
But I'm killing with that. All fun.
And these guys go in these fly-by-night shit and get started with this shit, and then they come on here and they go, how do I get the big customers like Procter and Gamble? What do I need to do to get? They're not going to talk to you. They don't want to talk to you.
You're talking like $2 million in cargo insurance to $4 million liability.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. But there is a way to do it, and there is a place to start, and there is a method by which you can get into the business, make a damn good living, and grow your business and keep going in a fort. Shaggy says all the time, drives me crazy. What's your plan? What's your 2-week plan? What's your 2-month plan? What's your 2-year plan? Where are you going with this thing?
What are you going to do if you spend all this money and get a dispatching service, go out there, you're making it good, then you have a hard... Oh, you go call Frank the dispatcher and be like, hey, Frank.
I wasn't going to get into dispatching services tonight, but I can tell you this. They're starting to get sued now, and they don't have any insurance. They don't have anything. And there's 2 things that are happening. Number one, people are coming after them now. They're coming because when a lawyer sues somebody, he sues everybody.
Hi, man. I swore I seen it the other day on Facebook that looked like.
And let me tell you, they're coming after you. And if they do, I have a dedicated tanker account. Yes, I do, big one. If they can't get their money out of the dispatch service because they dispatched the truck, they booked the load, and they are responsible. These dispatch services will go, no, you're wrong, Frank. I'm not. You asshole. I've been through it. I'm the guy that's going to sue your ass. You with me now? I mean, are we on the same page now? So when they sue your ass and they find out you don't have any money, you don't have any insurance, then they're going to come after your shit. And if they can't get that, then they'll go after the broker or the shipper.
No, they're not going to.
All going to come home to roost.
They're not going to ban dispatching. What they're going to do. Well, it's funny too because I was reading. I'm not going to say her name, but I was reading on Freeway. She's like, we provide a great business where we negotiate the best rates for guys while they drive down the road. You might do that. Do you build relationships? Well, no. But we keep them moving and make them a lot of money. I get it. But it's like, and then Freightways responded, well, then if they pass the highway bill, which TIA is going to get it done, and they're going to try, and it's going to get passed, especially with the government we have in there now. I guarantee it's going to get passed. And we're like, well, if they pass the highway bill where you can only be one dispatcher for one carrier without a bond, and you have to go co-broker with all the brokers that legally do it, well, I don't want to pay for the bond. Well, fuck, if you're such a God's gift searcher and making all that money as a dispatching service,
if you're so great,
what the fuck is a little bit of a bond?
Do you really think, you guys, do you really think that in one of them, if one of the most highly regulated businesses on earth transportation, one of the most highly regulated, highly scrutinized businesses on earth. Do you really think they're going to keep letting, sweet Irene sit there at her kitchen table in her fucking underwear and keep dispatching trucks?
Dude.
You really think that's going to keep happening?
Like, answer the phone.
It's not going to keep happening because you just like that guy, that Shannon dude, and the people at just look them up, man. It's Shannon Shelf at DOT.gov or FMCSA.gov. He's the head guy going after all the complaints and stuff. Just as soon as they figure it out, man, and get it all lined out, how they're going to regulate it after that. But it's going to happen, man. They're going to do it. Lawyers and all that are already doing it. Hell, if I told you we've been subpoenaed, and we even had OIDA coming after us when we were doing it. And I'm talking about, we did a lot of trucks, man. We were dispatching up to 70 guys. Hell, when Frank first met me, we were rolling at least 70 carriers. And I don't want nothing to do with any of it. It's not that I can't, or I will, or not, or I'm good at it, or whatever. Oh, I am. That's why when people go on auto transport intel, like James Land that time, he didn't mention anybody else's name when he was on that show about going after dispatch. He mentioned my name on that show. Remember, Frank?
Yeah.
He mentioned me when he came out and said he's going against the government and all those organizations like TAR suing him. My name was mentioned as the dispatching training, not anybody else's. I was mentioned in. It's still recorded on auto transport intel right behind my head. And 15 minutes. And when stuff like that's happening, I don't want nothing to do with it. I want to train carriers how to do stuff themselves. I don't care if you use a dispatching service. I don't give a fuck if you are a dispatching service. But when you don't want to use one and you want to run your own company, that's where we come in.
It's an easy fix, guys. If you take Shaggy's brokerage class, it ain't rocket science. If you're already a dispatch service, you're a fucking moron not to make the next step.
You are a broker anyway.
You're a broker anyway. You just don't have a license or any protection.
They're like, dispatcher's not a broker. Well, the hell you're not. You get up, you build relationships, you call I'm not even going to explain it on you right now. But if you guys don't think a dispatcher is the best broker you'll ever have at your trucking company, hell, it's the best compliance guy you'll ever have at your company. Because once the driver goes through the authority and through the orientation that you're supposed to have, the dispatcher's the one that controls his hours of service, controls the way he runs, controls the money he makes, he controls the operations of the company. I mean, is he not? He's not just a load booker. Where the fuck did you get that from?
Make the next step. You want to be a real company. Take the next step.
Got 15 minutes because I got spaghetti at home and I'm hungry.
I do too.
And we just jumped on to get this shit fired up. We're going to be back in 2 weeks, man.
We used to do this every Wednesday night. And if you guys want to come around on Wednesday evenings and sit and talk to us, I mean, we love talking to you. We love hanging out, and we try to keep it. Like I said, we got so many people on here, brokers, brand new people starting out, trucking companies. Like, put your questions in there or ask us, questions in the group during the week.
Yeah, see if we're full of shit or not. Test us. Come on, give us something hard to talk about. Give us something testing. No problem, Jeff. Man, we appreciate you guys. Guys, share the group, share the show, let people know we're back. The Real Trucker Talk. Dude, we're not like the rest of the people out there. So if you come to this thing, we're telling you how it fucking is. We're telling you how it works. We're telling you the truth about stuff. We're laying out the operations. We're laying down the risk. We're telling you about the claims. We're telling you that things are going to change. There's going to be hurricanes. There's going to be stuff. And you think the money's going higher. Always remember the minute. It's funny because we were talking about it earlier today. And it was actually a customer that was talking to us. And he said, it's funny, like they're debating on staying in the United States or not, right? This is no shit. And they're like, if the cost gets any higher and the fuel surcharge goes up, they're like, they're going to leave. And this company is big. They're all over the United States. And I'm like, well, how do you guys just disappear so fast? And he says, well, what we do is we fire every employee we have. But right before we fire them, we call 2 countries and say, hey, Mexico, you guys got that warehouse space, that factory space? Yeah, you got these machines? Yep. You got these employees? Oh, you can? How much are you paying? Yep, we'll be there next week.
Christian, last question. How do you get a decent fuel discount like the mega carriers, or is it impossible due to not having the buying power? You can join NASDAQ or Shaggy's got some companies.
What you actually got to do if you want to get technical on it, you go to EFS or WEX and you pay $5,000 and you buy your own trucking company fuel card, right? So then you got to fucking get 1 million plus gallons with your own trucking company. Once you hit 1 million plus gallons, then you start going into the vendors, like buy the main fuel stops, using them, and you negotiate your own rates, a cost plus whatever. But until then, you use those people he was talking about.
Yeah. Like we're buying at TA right now with a 73-cent discount.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty good.
Hey,
anything else, guys? Thanks for having us. I got beef tips and noodles. Got that. You got that. I got beef tips.
I'm getting spaghetti, meatballs, and garlic bread. I am like stoked.
Ooh, man, that sounds so good.
I know. I have in-persons tomorrow, man. We're sold out on in-person training for like all the way up till fucking July 18th. The like almost the first week of August. And we also our boot camps, our webinars are so sold out, man. We really are sold out till where we sold out. We're actually sold out to July, but I had to raise 5 more spots because I'm the only trainer. We don't have 50 students and 50 schools all over the place because we actually teach real shit. Like all of it. It's 60 hours of training, right, Frank?
Yeah.
And you got a lot of people to come in and help. It's not just me. And we break down all the scary shit before we tell you the good shit because
Shaggy's in Indiana. I'm the one that's in Nashville.
I agree. Hey, just so you know, Teresa right there, Frank, is Melissa's sister.
Who?
Melissa's sister. She's a truck driver.
Cool.
Yeah.
Daryl. So with me still learning about trucking, it's best for me to use to a company until I learn more about being an owner operator. Yes. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Where do you live, Daryl? If you live anywhere near Nashville, you can come lease to me.
Hey, Teresa, just remember, when I come out to PA in August for that airplane thingy that Jeff's doing, I do like seafood too, since Melissa doesn't. So since you're such a great caterer.
Wait a minute. They don't have South Carolina. Yeah. They don't have seafood in Pennsylvania.
I know. But she could like bring some in, and cook it while I'm there.
You're gonna be eating like deep fried gizzard nuggets in fucking Pennsylvania. That's what you get. You ain't gonna get no seafood.
Can they deep fry chocolate?
Oh yeah,
Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
Chocolate souffles. Angela says, I'm from Knoxville, New Authority. She is. Yep, we talked to I've been helping her today. They got lease agreements and stuff. She calls me all the time.
Cool. Guys, I'm gonna bounce. My dinner's ready.
Too. Guys, thanks for coming. Oh, I've been running. One more question. That's for you, Frank.
I don't know anything about boxes, little tiny box trucks. I don't know anything. Not my game.
At least we haven't had Chuck Watkins on here talking about recruiting midgets to drive hot shots and stuff.
I know. We're helping now. Very afraid of them.
I've never had a deep fried gizzard. Oh man, what are you missing, man? Gizzards are awesome. I've been running a Amazon DSP package delivery with a 20 fixed drive. I'm looking to start with my own. I still are young and want to get under my own company. Any good advice? I got good advice for you. Call that number down on the bottom, 812-870, and learn the whole trucking business before you jump out and start on your own.
Guys, Shaggy.
Hey, see, I got fish. Friday the 13th, fish.
Beautiful. Yeah. I got to go. I love you. Mean it.
Later, guy. Later, man. I got to go too. Guys, thanks for jumping in. Thanks for checking it out. Frank's been pestering me. People have been asking. They said come back with a real trucker talk with Frank. So we brought Frank back. Frank's here. I'm here. We won't be doing it every week because I'm just too busy and too much work to do, but I'll be doing it every other week. So catch us here 2 weeks live right here on Wednesday night at 7. Bring your questions, bring your answers, bust our balls, test us out, check and see if we know our crap, see if we know how to add on owner operators, grow a trucking company. Ask us about brokerages and getting customers if we even have one. Whatever you want to do. Talk about drivers. We're here for you guys to help you start a trucking company, grow a trucking company, get customers, diversify, make residuals, run your own trucking company. You want to be a dispatching service or you want to work for a dispatching service, go to the other channel, go to the other group, go talk to other people. Not me, not us. You want to run your own company, get your wife to work for you and learn how to do the rest? That's us. You know what I mean? But I am going home. I got students coming in tomorrow. It's a busy day. And man, classes are so filled up and things are going on. And guys, check out the Shaggy Consulting and Training Facebook group. It's over on the other side. And give me a call if you need me. If you're open in authority, you got questions, you guys want to dispatch yourself, you're using a dispatching service, you want to know why, what to do, what not to do, you want to see how to do broker packets so you know it's easier than fuck, call me. The number's floating at the bottom of the screen. It's my personal cell phone. It works. Langston's Ernie and freaking, I don't know who else been calling me. MPK Martin. Shit, there's a bunch of people calling me, man. It's like crazy. A lot of people called. I'm gonna have calls all night long. So guys, be safe, be good, take care of your family. Always remember to research, build a network, learn the language and the maps and seasons behind my head, and yeah, fuck it, I don't care. Do big, do all that stuff. Learn the business before you start. Don't just be a trucking company. You don't understand how to get customers. Don't understand how to do dispatch. You learn how to vocal yourself. If you're a broker, learn how to talk like a carrier. If you're a broker, learn how to other brokers talk before you go sell. Learn the lanes, the moving, the product, and all that stuff. You know what I mean? But anyways, all that stuff's so important in a business. Don't let people dictate your business. You be the boss. You be in control. And last but not least, are you a feeder or are you an eater? If you don't understand what that means and you feel like you're a slave to your business, then you're an eater. If you're smiling, having fun, and you have lots of Benjamins in the bank and you're at home with your family, running stuff, providing stuff for other people, then you're a feeder. What are you? Peace. Share the video. Join